Well, yeah, we could, easily, yeah. Do you know what the most important immediate consequence of the announcement?
Twitter crashed.
Twitter crashed completely, and Stephen Fry had to talk to real people. And Twitter went into meltdown over something else this week, didn't it, Ian?
Oh, it went into meltdown over an attempt to roll back 300 years of freedom of the press in Parliament. Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, well, yes, I think it is, yes.
Oh, good.
Go, 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 Ian.
Oh, no, I'll come and visit you.
Yeah.
I would. Most weekends I would. I really would.
It's a fairly simple story. There's a company called Trafigura, well worth remembering, and they were accused of dumping toxic waste on the Ivory Coast. And at the same time, though obviously there's no connection, a lot of people were very badly injured. And then Trafigura paid out £30 million. Obviously it was nothing to do with them. They didn't admit liability because, you know, you would pay £30 million to people who'd had nothing to do with them being injured. So the Guardian newspaper got a really good bit of information about this story. So they rang up Trafigura, who immediately rang their lawyers, didn't answer the question, said, here's an injunction, you can't publish this, and you can't publish the fact that we're gagging you. Now, that's fairly outrageous. That means you can't publish at all. So an MP raised the question, and the London lawyers of Trafigura, Carter Ruck, who specialise in reputation management, an MP in your Houses of Parliament tried to raise this issue. And the lawyers said the press can't report what's happening in Parliament. So Twitter went into meltdown. Various stupid people published the question that the MP had raised. Actually, only one person did. That was Private Eye. And the Guardian said they were going to court because it's their story and they'd sort of taken it that way. And Carter Ruck backed down. They were basically told to Carter Ruck off. And it was a terrific victory for freedom of the press, for the Guardian, and probably not for Trafigura and Carter Ruck and dumping toxic stuff in the Ivory Coast. Is that the right answer?
Yes, I think that's, yes. So we talked about the Nobel Prizes, and let's not forget the Ig Nobel Prizes awarded every year around this time for research or discoveries that cannot or should not be reproduced. This year's Ig Nobel Prize for Literature was won by the Irish police. They issued more than 50 traffic tickets to the country's most frequent driving offender, Mr. Prawo Jazdy, whose name turns out to mean driving licence in Polish. It's not hard to see what happened there, is it? The Ig Nobel Prize for Public Health was awarded to 3 researchers from Chicago who invented a bra that can be quickly converted into a pair of gas masks. Well, they say quickly.
It doesn't explain how you get the bra off the person who's wearing it. In the attempt of a gas attack, it's small talk is at a premium.
Just keep an eye on him, Arlene. So this is the controversial announcement that after only 9 months in office, President Obama has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The decision to award the coveted Nobel Prize to Obama wasn't welcomed by everyone. A spokesman for the Taliban said, Mr. Obama should get a Nobel Prize for violence. Or as the Taliban call it, the coveted Nobel Prize for violence. Forging on to round 2, it's the jigsaw of news.
Jigsaw
Buzz,
of news?
The jigsaw of news.
Blimey.
Yes. Buzz when you know what the story is.
OK.
Charlie?
It's the machine that's going to strip you naked, whether you want it to or not, that they're trialling at Manchester Airport.
That's right, yeah.
Is that right? So you don't have to get frisked, which is the highlight of most holidays for me. Is that out the window?
They've described it as less embarrassing than coming across... No, it's less embarrassing than...
Fumbling your lines.
I've read a lot so far. It's not easy, is it? They've said that it'll avoid...
What?
Sorry, my E's just kicked in.
It's the other vowels you ought to worry about.
They said that it'll avoid embarrassing pat-down checks, which are considered less embarrassing than coming across a grainy black and white close-up of your Johnson on YouTube. But you can still opt for the pat-down if you prefer. That's an extra tenner on Ryanair.
Is Johnson named after anyone in particular? Boris or...
Ulrika, who knows?
They're claiming that it's not erotic. But if you're into ghost porn...
Readers' X-ray wives.
It's nice to know, isn't it? It's nice to know that, because they're saying it's all right, yes, they're not going to see your face, they're not going to know who you are, it's somebody in a separate room. That's what I like to think. If somebody's going to look at me naked, I want it to be a man sitting in a windowless room, peering at a close-up of my genitals. That's really going to set me at ease.
Digestive biscuits.
Yeah. Anybody know how these scanners work?
Yeah. Some sort of X-ray machine, I think. I don't know.
It actually happened to me at Gatwick. I think they were testing it. Some of us were invited to
into
go
the
through
Nudatron.
But it wasn't a man alone in a room.
Really?
It was
There's a
two
whole bunch of them.
sniggering gits from customs who thought it was very funny.
Let's look at your Doc Johnson.
Yeah, Doc Johnson.
On the news, it made a lot of people...
Very happy.
...that spoke, very happy, and they felt safer.
That's because they can't hear the laughter from the room next door.
Well, yeah, but that's just common sense. You don't want the laughter piped into the room where people are...
How long before this
Here he comes, old bent cock. You don't want to hear that, do you? You don't want to hear that when you've got your luggage. That's not the room's basic human decency, though.
That's what they do. The terrorists would just get people with really weird genitals.
Yes.
To hide it, you could hide it. You could have a rocket launcher up here.
Yeah.
And they'd be so busy staring down there. They're not going to laugh.
Doesn't that look like Tony Benn? And you don't suddenly that's... Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
Right, here's another one for you. Buzz when you know what it is.
That's the Hadron Collider, isn't it?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
I'm quite wrong. It's Stargate.
Somebody has claimed that nature is stopping it from working. That's a really advanced scientist is claiming that.
Do you know what the Hadron Collider is suspected of doing?
What it's suspected of doing? Is it sentient now?
Yeah.
It's big enough. I'm not actually a real scientist, I should point out, just to clear that up.
It hasn't been charging people for its cleaning, has it?
According to two highly respectable scientists, the £4 billion Hadron Collider might be sabotaging itself from the future.
Sabotaging itself from the future?
Well, do you know any of the theory of what the Large Hadron Collider is attempting to achieve?
Yes, I do, actually.
Oh. Bring it on, big fella.
Yeah, OK, you've got one set of molecules here, right? And you've got another set of molecules here, and then what you do is you fire them at each other at approximately 37 miles per hour, or even faster if you've got it on the 5 button, and they collide together, and when they collide together, they create a whole new sort of, I don't know.
OK. They're hunting for the Higgs boson, which is a theoretical tiny particle that could be a building block for all life. And according to the Telegraph, this particle is so abhorrent to nature that its discovery would ripple backward through time and stop the collider before it could find it.
But then Arnie would arrive.
The Telegraph simplified it for their readers. They said it was akin to Marty McFly endangering his own existence in Back to the Future films. Meanwhile, the editor of The Star didn't understand the story at all, so he ran with one about a man having sex with a walnut instead.
Was it pickled?
Was afterwards.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Wait a minute. If it's sabotaging itself from the future, it must work. But it doesn't work. So it's making itself not work in the present because it works in the future.
It doesn't have to work in order to sabotage itself. It's come back from the future.
But that means it works.
No, no. That's not what it's trying to do. It's not built to sabotage itself. It's built to make thingies.
It's built to make thingies. It is.
It is.
It's built to make thingies.
It is.
Important,
Yes. One of the men behind the theory, Dr. Nielsen, announced his shock finding that the future can come back to affect the present at a press conference in Geneva held next April. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
We still don't know what it means.